Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Den with Coach Seth Parr. We are live from Nanda's Tex-Mex in Anna. Let's give a little round of applause for all our good people here at Nanda's. Our show is brought to you by some great Coyote sponsors like Country Charm Cafe, Anna Dental, Pin Oaks Christian Fellowship, and the Coyote Football Network is brought to you by City Park Development. As always, I am Phil Morgan.
I'm Blake Rundy, and sitting between us is not, in fact, Coach Seth Parr.
It is not.
But it's who I we can give a little love for Ann Parr in the house.
Thank you.
A little love for Ann Parr, who I fondly refer to as the brains of Coyote football in our texting back and forth this week. But you are the athletic communication coordinator, so kind of talk to us about what specifically is your role within the universe of Coyote athletics?
I am just joined the athletic department last year. Was it last year, Seth? Last year. So it's a fairly new role. I'm still trying to get into the groove of things, but I run all of the social media stuff, the website, schedules, big events like the Homecoming Festival, Youth Night, which is on Friday. Make sure you come out.
Nice.
And anything and everything in between. Kind of gopher for Seth when he asks for things and his death waters during the middle of the day. And just anything and everything that Andy may need or the coaches may need or anything the community. I answer a lot of emails for community questions and media requests. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. Yeah. Every day looks a little bit different.
You have to put up with us.
Yes, but you guys are wonderful.
We'll keep sending the payment.
Yeah.
So listen, Coach has said some stuff.
Yes.
Right? He's had the mic for a good long while now.
Yes.
And now you get the mic.
Yes.
This is your turn, girl. So over the first half of the season, Coach has said a lot of things. Is there anything you need to set the record straight on before we get too far into this?
You know, I don't know if he's been pretty good. So I worry more about what he says, like, to players and to parents. Like, Seth does these, like, inspirational things. You know, he gives these talks, and he gets going. And the story may have some truth to it. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So if you are a parent out there and your son comes home and says, oh, my gosh, you never know what Coach Parr's wife did today, just know that there is only a small ounce of truth to that. It is not completely true.
So on a percentage scale, are we looking like 80% truth, 20%?
I'm talking maybe more like 10% truth. And then, you know, it's like a fish story. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. He said some things at to the newspaper at the state championship, and I'm like, that is not true. Why would you say that? And I think it had something to do with us moving to Anna, which is, I love Anna. And I was like, I never said that. And he was like, well, it adds to the story. And I'm like, well, so for the record, I love Anna. I tell Seth if he moves, I'm not moving. He is going to the girls love Anna. Autumn's so ready to come back and work in Anna. So,
all right.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing that he's really.
All right, so 10%.
10%. Only 10% is probably true. He's added a little bit of flavor to it, as he says. He's got to season it.
If the coaching thing doesn't work out, you can always become a pastor.
Yeah, he says that too. But he just says he wants like a song and a sermon, and so I'm like, I'm not coming to your church. You got to have the music. That's the flavor of it, the music.
I mean, you know those postseason, those postseason award banquet ceremony speeches by Coach Parr are legendary.
Long. They are long.
You know, he gets on us for how long we preach, and then we come to these award banquets and.
I know, he tells you. He's like, it's gonna be a long one. Him and Chumley text about how long the sermons are gonna be.
I enjoy having the access to the program that I have. I enjoy the football experience, and so I will plead the fifth moving forward on that.
Hey, it's a free-for-all.
How am I pleading the fifth? You're his wife. Why aren't you in this situation?
Pleading the fifth on your own show. You just been cornered
off.
What
is going on?
Hey, I've got a fan question from none other than James Chumley, who somehow was outlawed to ask Seth Parr questions.
We are off the rails already.
He can ask you questions. How much football do you watch at home?
A lot.
Is there anything on TV ever besides football?
Sometimes Shark Tank, which is Seth and the girls are obsessed with Shark Tank. I hate Shark Tank.
No, can't stand it.
No, can't stand it. It's
What
terrible.
is it about it that?
I don't know. I'm just like, if you have to go on a show to like promote, I don't know. I just don't like it. I just don't like Shark Tank. Seth loves it. The entrepreneurial spirit, I guess. I don't know. You need to ask him that question why he loves it so much.
Okay, all right. Next week we got it. Maybe in the next segment we'll see.
Maybe in the next segment. Yeah,
maybe.
Let's kind of keep with this theme. I think we and all of the people here in the building and at home want to know, what is life like after a win and after a loss? What are the differences there?
We take a loss is pretty hard. I mean, if anyone's seen Danica on the sidelines after a loss, that girl's in tears. Now, Autumn, she's a little bit more reserved. She's not as in it as Danica, but Danica's, she's all hardcore. And so, which leads to Seth, who's just, they're just crying together. He probably won't want me to say that, but they take losses hard. I'm gonna admit it first. I am terrible. I'm a sore loser. I have gotten a lot better. Seth has not slept on the couch since we've moved to Anna.
Oh, okay.
So,
there we
so
go.
I've gotten better.
Congratulations, Coach.
I try to be more encouraging, and it's okay. We're gonna be okay, but.
That's a win.
Yes, it is.
That's
it is a win, and
so that used to be the tough love motivation.
Yes,
hey,
yes,
Coach, you
it
lose,
does
you
not
sleep
work.
on the couch.
I am definitely an armchair coach, and Seth doesn't want to hear why the bad snap or why we dropped the ball. And I mean, he just doesn't want to hear all that. But so we take losses pretty hard. We're depressed the whole weekend.
So James wants to know, so it's no longer the couch. Does he have to sleep outside now after a loss? Is that the new expectation? You won state, and so now it's outside after a loss.
No, I don't know. We'll see. He probably would be fine with that because he's got a whole little setup. So hot tub and everything.
And just for the record, we are now at the
Yes.
James Chumley limit of questions.
Yes.
Limit of questions.
He is now cut off.
He's burned through all of them in the first segment.
Congratulations, Chumley. You got a couple questions in.
After a win, we celebrate that night, and then he quickly shifts his focus, and we are on to the next week. I think after the state championship, people asked, "Oh, what are you going to do?" And he was, we went to, of all places, Golden Corral. I mean, Shonda Roop and I were like, of all places to celebrate it was terrible. I thought we were going to have like a steak or, it was like the Super Bowl. We're going to Disney World. No, we went to Golden Corral.
You could have something that resembles a steak?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, that's what he says.
And you got the chocolate fountain? The chocolate fountain?
I just can't do. That's another thing, Golden Corral.
Dip your steak in the
it's
chocolate fountain.
But we move on pretty quickly.
Did I get it mixed up? No, okay, all right, good. All right. Well, look, so some of your job, kind of taking it to a little bit more serious level, I feel like we've seen a lot more attention paid to the program,
yes.
right? There's been a heightened awareness about Anna Coyote football, but I also kind of think about Anna Coyote sports in general.
Oh, yeah.
How does your role kind of play into that?
I think when you have the quality of the athletic programs, they kind of speak for themselves. And so I just make it easier to facilitate the information. I think, Seth, when you get 100 emails a day, sometimes you miss the media requests for an interview, and so I kind of sort through that. So I definitely feel like I'm a facilitator of information and kind of making sure we don't miss anything promoting our programs.
Good.
Well, I mean, I think it's evident, right? When we look on the sidelines, because this show specifically deals with football, but when we look on the sidelines on Friday nights, the amount of media that we have show up and is present, it's raised the attention of Coyote football and raised the profile of these kids, which I know the coaching staff and all of you guys working in the office are all about. So just kudos to Ann. Can we give Ann a little bit of love? And then we'll give you a chance.
Wait, sitting right in front of us is the mayor, and I think one of the other things that your job has done, and we don't talk a lot about.
Pete Kane catching strays.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, he moved his chair so we could set up our cameras. So
he's literally behind the camera. He could unplug the camera.
Shout.
We better be nice.
We
also
said we'd
the
shout
voice of the Coyotes.
Also the voice of the
Yeah,
Coyotes.
also the voice of the Coyotes.
But in that, the reason I mention that is just because I think it's also brought some really good attention for our town.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I
so
think
it's done that too.
I think Seth has said before that we were moving to Anna, Texas, and we were like, where's Anna, Texas? And I don't think that people say that anymore. I think it's, a gold mine. It's a wonderful place to live and raise a family. And you still have that Coyote spirit on Friday nights. And it's just a wonderful community.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's a great place. And any last words before we bring Coach Parr on here?
Any last words? Oh, we need you on Friday nights. You come out, support us. Those boys feed off of your energy. Be kind, be positive. They don't need any armchair coaches. They know why they've missed that down or or a snap. I don't think that people realize how much time and energy that those players and coaches put into football and the commitment it takes to be a state champ.
Yeah.
And just to be on the varsity football in a Coyote. I mean, it's dusk to dawn, 12 months out of the year, and
12 days a week it feels like for some of them.
12 days a week sometimes. They don't get a Thanksgiving break like other kids do, and I just think that it's so admirable to the parents and commitment of the players too, and it's such a cool thing to see.
Well, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Man, we're going to have to do this again.
Yeah. New segment featuring Coach Ann Parr.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for your
Thanks.
time.
Well, hey, let's give it up for Ann Parr. Thank you so much, Ann.
Thank you.
All right, well, we are back live. For those of you joining us online, we are live in Nando's with our head coach, Seth Parr.
Our head coach, Seth Parr, everybody.
There we go. They got spoiled with Ann being up here. Now they just want more Ann, I guess.
Gotcha.
Well, hey, so I think we got to start it with this. We want to give you a chance to respond to anything that was said in the previous segment. Any rebuttals or counterpoints that you want to bring to the table?
Well, yeah, she's terrible at losing. I'm a lot better. Our first year at Caprock, I don't know what she expected, but we were the worst team in the state, literally. We were ranked last. And we're playing Randall, and my game plan was to be in the 4-minute mode. And we weren't going to snap the ball until there's 4 seconds left on the play clock. And just try to take it down. My goal was not to get beat. There's an art to not getting beat bad. And at that year I had to learn it. And I felt pretty good. I think we got beat by 21 or 28. Or maybe
42.
She shouted.
Ann from off screen tells us it's 42.
She might have gotten that grown a little bit in retail as well. She's a storyteller as well. And well, anyway, I get home and my blanket and my pillow are on the couch. And my mother wasn't like that to my dad. She was all a little bit more caring and upset about it. She had missed that hospitality part of the I don't know, when they were growing up, it was a little bit different, I guess. He didn't have to change diapers or anything like that, and it's changed. And I think they were more on y'all's lecture that I'm in the sermon about the man and woman role in the marriage. Back in the day, they were a little bit better than that, Pastor Gundy, and so I got there, and the pillow and the blanket were on the couch, and I remember she telling me, if you're gonna spend that much time away from home and you're gonna lose like that, you can sleep on the couch.
I said that's true. We got it. That's true from Ann.
And then after the Salina game, she didn't even come and see us. She didn't even come and see me last year. She just took off and left. So I don't know where she says she did all this improving We have not.
I think.
But it kind of got where she understood I kind of like sleeping on the couch. Because I had the remote. I could watch whatever I wanted to watch. And then she's like, "Are you going to come to bed?" And I was like, "I thought I was here." But it got where but we've had to learn how to handle losses. I don't, when I put a lot into it, I don't really think when I lose, I handle it differently because I know what all I've done. And I always think if I can do everything that I can possibly do to do something well, I really don't get upset. I don't feel good. There's a difference between not being upset and not feeling good.
Right.
When I'm not feeling good, I don't want to talk. I want to probably give you one-word answers. And I'm not going to be wanting to go out and be a socialite or anything like that. And I just want to be left alone. And I want to watch what I want to watch.
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank's a great one. And then start working on Sunday. And so I want to get back into it. So I don't like losing, but I also know that you can learn from it. And all I'm trying to do is collect my thoughts of what can we do to prevent this from next time. And is it something that it was a communication error just like last week? We were having all kinds of communication problems from the sideline, and it's causing snaps to go at the beginning. We weren't getting our snaps, but a lot of it was on my fault because we were communicating differently than what we normally do because of the Melissa game. We had a couple of players that transferred to Melissa or moved over there, whatever we want to call it, and we had to change all our signals because they were on the team last year. Well, we've done those signals for 3 years, and so when we change them, it's habit, and he was looking, Zai was looking and trying to get the signal, and then we had to work on Tristan's theater art skills and really learn how to snap those signals down. He was being a little limp with it a couple of times, and then and then one time we're doubles, and I'm running doubles, and we're in pistol. That's quarterback and shotgun, running back behind us, and Tristan's giving this signal, which Zai's like, what in the world? This means under. That means we go under. We don't use it very often. If you go under. So I'm just impressed that Zai still knows that's the under signal. So he's doing that, and I'm looking at him. I said, what's the issue? Doubles. And I'm losing it because this is like the third or fourth time we've had issues. We've already had balls snap. And so he comes to the sideline, and our signal coach, Coach Townsend, he's over there, and he says, hey, that's, what was it, Simba, or it's supposed to be Lion King. That's when he pulled it, and he was going on Lion. It's supposed to be called Lion. Well, he had made the sign like this for Lion for Simba and the Lion King, but he had forgot it, and he's like, he's doing this. And then Zai's like, what is this? And he goes, under? And he goes, no, Lion. He goes, Lion's this. And I could tell all the fun. He goes, you're right. And he goes to Tristan and says, what in the world were you doing? Why'd you say that? He goes, I thought that looked like Simba. And that's how just communicating. So we had to learn, and we had to talk to Dylan because Dylan's hearing him mumble because he's hearing, what is that? We had to change boot because boot was a signal I can't give, but then we changed it to one, and he couldn't see the signal because he goes, that looks like this. And so that was a whole deal, and he's mumbling, and then Dylan thinks it's go. He's saying go, so we had to rechange our whole communication. We're going back to our old signals. We are now clapping to let him know we're ready, so all those things that we had prepared on Sunday, a lot of it's just how to communicate from the sideline to the field and not have it messed up because there's a lot to taking a snap. So there's a lot to know you're ready. So we had to really practice on that this week, along with we had to learn how to do a muddle huddle because we got guys that are having to play receiver that hadn't played receiver. So we're telling them where to go because we had some injuries. So to get them in closer and stuff like that, those are the things that people don't realize, that it takes a lot of time. Those signals take a long time, but communicating from everybody from the field to the sideline and then fixing all that stuff is a lot.
Well, and I don't want to get lost in the fact that, in all this execution talk, you guys did get the win, right? And there was something that happened between that first half and the second half, and I know fans heard it. It was very clear that the team was chanting. They were chant singing. I don't know what you call it, but I think everybody kind of wants to know a little bit of the behind story. Would you share a little bit about the I Got the Joy thing?
Yeah, they probably don't want to hear the whole thing because they're probably thinking we're like a real good team, and we are a good team, but we fight like cats and dogs. And
it's because you got some competitors on your team.
We got some immaturity on our team. All right? So we are competitors, but we are very immature. And somebody called me this or somebody called me that, and then all of a sudden we're blowing up. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not very good at I'm going to or I'm not, and you making the decision what we're going to do. So there was some things, you go home, I don't care, and all this stuff. And then when they didn't go home, they end up saying it's like it's opposite. You say it's blue, they say it's purple or something like that. And we had a really bad morning. And then in the afternoon, it was still a little, nobody's really liking each other. I think Peyton said, thank God I'm tired of this. Everybody go. And then, it was a whole deal. So I had to pull everybody in, and I said, listen, we're going to have to change this. And so going to Vacation Bible School, we sang Joy, Joy, Down in My Heart. So I had to make them follow me. I said, we got some joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. They got some joy, joy, joy. And I really got into it. Yeah, really got into it. And I told them we're going to sing 3 verses. And then all of a sudden we started seeing some smiles. And then I threw, if the devil doesn't like it, he can send on tag. It's one of my favorite ones. And because I told them we had the devil in us right now. So everybody started smiling, broke some ice. And then in the second half, at halftime, when we had all those issues, and I came in, and poor Victor, or Coach Rod, he was shaking. I thought he was going to have a seizure or a heart attack. He wanted to rip everybody. And I called him in. I said, listen, we have probably played as bad as we can play, and we're down 17-14. We're talking about a snap over our head. We've had 2 snaps that gone by us. We're not communicating. And we had a horrible pregame. And we're only down by 3 points. Mm-hmm. Just calm down. Calm down. Everything's going to be okay. And I said, we're going to have to figure it out. So we come out, and then Coach Ross said, I'd like to talk to those receivers. I said, you're not talking to anybody right now. Just go in there. Did you not hear the speech I just gave? So when we went and got them, I said, let's get up, and it was kind of like a movement. I didn't say anything, and then all of a sudden down the hall, the kids started singing, I got joy, 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 joy down in my heart. So then they started singing that, and in the tunnel, and then when they scored, and they got louder and louder, and then when George did it, they just got louder and louder, and then after a game, it was really, really good. So it's kind of a movement to us as our song leader at Pin Oaks just goes by us. There you go. Yeah. We needed something, and you get moody. We spend a lot of time. We've been there all year long, and I would like to say that everybody always is happy, but that's not the case. But there's always some joy that you can find. But you got to find it. You got to go and get it and quit thinking of the poor me's or why do I have to do this? Why does he get this and I don't get that? And, we're having a big old controversy on the uniforms and what we're going to do. And all that's going to change because I am doing what I want. So the jersey's gonna be what I want, and then when they can act right, then we'll figure out what they want.
There you go. Well, I think that's such a cool story to hear. Hey, I've got a question from YouTube for you.
Okay.
All right. So Eric asked us on YouTube, he said, can we ask how important is the Coyote Walk to Coach Parr and the Coyote football team?
Oh, it's very important. One, just seeing those guys and introducing everybody to Coyote football. And I believe Dave Campbell's and the Dallas Morning News is coming this week. And Maya Taylor, I think she's from Dallas Morning News, and she says the best things, the favorite place she gets to come to is Anna. And it's a lot of the tailgate and the Coyote Walk and all the atmosphere. You go, and I don't want to down anybody, but I will, because you know, that's just one. I think you need to be called out. But if you go to Frisco, I feel sorry for those kids. None of that was Frisco Emerson. That was Toyota. That was FC Dallas. You know, you go to those places, it's not necessarily for those kids, and it's hard to be, it's not a community of people. So when we get to show off our community and we get to show whatever we want, all those little kids want to start being an Anna Coyote. And then if we can attach those kids to the school of, if it's a band, if it's drill, if it's anything, if we can give them hope and something for them to go to, and something that maybe want them to stay in school or make their grades or do something, that is more important than, you know, let's hurry up and get this done. You know, and I saw a highlight video of not even the same team when we were playing Emerson. It came on the school as for another Frisco school. I guess they messed up or something, and I was like, that wouldn't happen in Anna, Texas. So anybody ever wants you know, we got a lot of houses up for sale. If you're a good football player or a band member, all right. So there's a lot of houses for here if you want something more than just a school.
Well,
Yeah.
So this is not the same Walnut Grove team that we saw last year for our homecoming game. They've had a year of prep. They've gone through some genesis of their own. So looking at them as a competitor, how do you see that they've grown as a program, and what are the keys for us in this game?
You know, I struggle giving Prosper credit, but Walnut Grove has done good. I don't like ever talking about, you know, how good the other team is. So I don't know if they're good or not. I have to play them. So we'll see on Friday night how much they improved. And I'm sure they're good people. But, you know, you live in Prosper, you don't need a pat on the back. They all think they're pretty good anyway. So we'll see on Friday.
I don't even know where to go now.
They got a nice Kroger. I will say that. They do.
That's all right. HEB's coming to the area
but
around here.
I will say I'll take Brookshire's any day of the week.
There you go. There you go.
We just got to get them to get that Melissa stuff out of there. They got their own grocery store, so they can go shop there.
There you go. Well, I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss for words.
Sometimes we just get to that place in the coach's show. It just is
all
the way
purple.
it works.
It's all gas, no brakes, right? So.
I love it. Well, hey, any final thoughts about Friday night or anything in general that you wanna share with?
I do think they have. They're excited to play us. They had some issues last year with, you know, the way the game went. They didn't really enjoy that. I really made CJ and all the defensive guys really upset. So we came off a loss against Salina. And we had to learn a lesson. You know, we had a yes sir, no sir game. So the yes sir, no sir game, the only thing the defense could respond the whole week was yes sir, no sir. There was no other comments because they had 7, I think, unsportsmanlike conducts in that game. Now they did count mine, or CJ or somebody, one of them reminded me, said, "Didn't you get one?" You know, they were good at that. They were a very good group. And I said, I got one because your coach, your defensive coordinator, is why I got one. You know, so he said that counts for y'all.
We're now phoning in Coach
That's
Ramos
right,
to rebuttal.
Yeah, and So, and then they had a quarterback that I just, he was doing really well. He was leading the state, and I called him Johnny Manziel. And I had Manziel, I think, cut ups. I don't know, and I just Chumley will tell you, but I still had a lot of Manziel stuff. I called it Manziel Magic or something like that, and we showed them. By Thursday, when CJ gets mad, he starts pounding his leg like this. He doesn't say anything. But I was in there, and he was pounding. And then after that game, I think it was 50-7, something like that. Now, everybody always wants to say be classy and win and don't try to run up score, and we didn't. But we didn't have very many second teamers. But I did remember in the freshman and JV game that they were beating us pretty bad, and they brought a basketball goal and liked to dunk it every time they had a turnover, and they beat us really, really bad. And I just remember thinking, I remember stuff like that.
Pretty good. It was 52-7. Pretty good memory right there.
I remember it on Twitter. I remember how many turnovers. I think they caused 13 turnovers with our freshmen, and our freshmen weren't ready for that. So I did remember that, and maybe we didn't pull off as much as we probably should have. But after the game, CJ looks at me and goes, "How's that magic?" Very seriously. I said he didn't have much today. So, but we're ready. They might be ready, but we're going to be ready too.
Awesome. Well, hey, Coach Parr, thank you so much for taking a couple of moments to
I wish we
speak with
could
us.
skip now. Let's skip Thursday and go straight to Friday.
Let's get
right
into
into
it.
it.
Right.
All right, guys, we are back. We are joined by the defensive coordinator, Coach Severe, and so we're going to jump right. Coach
We're
Severe.
joined by the defensive coordinator, Coach Severe.
Coach Severe in the house.
There's
right
a little
here.
bit of love
That's
for
right.
him.
There we go. There we go. Hey, off a victory feels great, but we've got a game ahead of us. So let's start with the goal line stand. Looking back, right? Let's look at that play to end the half of on Friday night against Emerson. What did that do for the team's morale and kind of just their headspace? With the way things have been going.
Yeah, I think the first half, I told Coach Parr this because sometimes you get caught up in the game, you don't even realize it. I didn't feel like at that point Emerson had really stopped us, so we had kind of stopped ourselves and with our snaps over the head, and then to be in a 14-14 game that you feel like you're controlling on offense, and I felt like our defense, besides a broken coverage, was playing pretty well, and so it would have been a pretty bad gut punch to go down 21-14 when you feel like it's 14-14. You might have a chance to go get a field goal yourself, get the ball back, flip the script, and then all of a sudden you're on the 2-yard line with your heels on the goal line. And right before we went out there, it's kind of always something I've done is sudden change defense and talk to them and try to, you always just try to give them a little inspiration right before they go out there. I said, let's show our character. Let's show our character right now and see if we can't, stand up here and make a big play for our team and, flip the momentum back, because if we can give up no points or 3 points here, that's a win because we're going to get the ball and go score in the second half. So it was big. I think it was big for our kids to get a goal line stand or goal line stop. I think it was big for us going into halftime. We've played as bad as we could play, we felt like at times, and only be down 3 points and getting the ball back with a really explosive offense. I thought, and Coach Parr talked about at halftime how our attitude, how he approached that is like we played terrible and we're down 3, and we got a great offense. So we go score. Now we just got to hold serve after that. So.
Well, and you guys did more than hold serve. You got a big defensive play out of a combination of Zay Gentry and George Rogers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scoop and score.
Little scoop and score. There you go. I got him to do it with me one more time. So James Shumley wanted me to remind you that you guys scored 8 defensive points on Friday night.
Right.
He's still waiting for you guys to get to 10.
That's right.
But we'll continue to try and live into your expectations, James. But hey, we've seen a defense that is growing every single week, right? I think that's very fair to say. This past week, you went toe to toe with a really, really talented and good Frisco Emerson team, and you guys more than held your own. So, what have you been noticing behind closed doors that's leading to strong performances on Friday night?
I mean, it's a lot of it's just confidence. They're playing more football. A lot of these guys haven't played a lot of football, at least not on this level. And we haven't really had any patsies. We've kind of run a gauntlet. I was thinking this week is like I'm pretty tired, and I think I'm really tired because every game is a grind. And I think Coach Rigg was talking about this last week and how he was like, man, I stayed up so late because we were in another close game and we won it, and I was just wired. He's like, it just feels like we've been in close game after close game. And we've just played a lot of good people. And when you play good people and you play your offense every day in practice, you have no choice but to get better. And our kids have, not shied away from that. We're not going to be afraid to go play anyone. And, it doesn't matter if you're afraid anyway. You still got to show up and play. And so our kids have kind of risen to that occasion. I think, like I always bring this up, but playing against our offense, you have to get better. You know what I mean? Or you're going to get embarrassed, and no one wants to get embarrassed. So we've gotten better competing in practice, and that's led to the game. And then you have a little, success in the game, and that breeds confidence. And I just think guys are a little bit more confident and playing faster because they know what they're seeing and they're trusting themselves a little bit more and seeing some success. So I think it's just growth. It's just growth as a team. And a lot of our guys are just playing a lot of snaps. I looked at the snap count of Walnut Grove starters because I was just curious how many snaps they have compared to our starters on defense, and they're about 253 snaps with their starters so far through 6 games because they've been up pretty big in a lot of games, and we're at like 350 snaps for our starting defense, and so almost 100 more snaps we've played on defense with our starters compared to their offense. Now, what does that mean? I don't know, but I was just curious that our guys have been playing knockdown, drag-out games for 48 minutes, and so we're prepared for that, and I think that's hardened us, and that's made us better.
Well, so one of the names that our YouTube chat is bringing up is Caden Banks.
Yeah.
And he's certainly stepped up his game. I think he had his best performance on Friday evening. Kind of talk about his development a little bit.
I would say it's more less on the football field, and I think Caden's always been really talented, and I think anyone who knows our team well will know that. He's always shown well in practice, and he's always been a really talented player. For him, it's, Coach talked about it, touched on it, but his maturity has come – it's not come a long way, but it's come a little ways.
Okay.
And these last 3 weeks, he's gotten a little bit better at, being a little bit more focused, and he's still got a ways to go, but he's gotten a little bit more focused, and he's a little more prepared, and he's kind of, not being as goofy and more preparing on the game. And so I think I want to focus more on his maturity level, and the more mature he gets off the field, I think his game is just going to continue to blossom because he's a really talented kid. He's a kid that we really thought going into the season is going to be a big-time player for us, and I feel like it took a few weeks for him to realize that because, some of the stuff that was off the field I think was weighing him down a little bit. So his response off the field has only helped him on the field, and I think his confidence, and we've allowed him to play a little bit faster. We just said, hey, we want you just to go attack instead of kind of read and react, and, he plays pretty well when he does that.
So looking ahead a little bit, Walnut Grove's had a lot of opportunity to score, right? We can talk about why that is. I think a lot of us kind of understand why that is with the schedule and the way things are working out this year. But their leading running back has 788 yards. Their quarterback's thrown for like 1,600 yards. They've had a lot of opportunity to score. What are the keys for our guys going into this contest?
The keys, we have a lot of keys, but number one is we want to win first down. And Coach Parr and myself and a few other coaches, we sat in with some analytics, and they look at our games and look at all our data. And We've actually been doing a pretty good job on first down, but it's really second down too. We gotta win second down. A lot of times we're winning first down and 2nd and 9, and then we give up 8 or we give up 12, and so it's we talked about, the coaches and I have talked about focusing on second down. What calls are we doing? Can we change that? Can we maybe be more aggressive? Are we being too aggressive? Do we need to change that philosophy? So looking at that, we got to win first down, obviously, like we've been, but also be really good on second down, because if we get them in third down, then I feel like we have a really good shot. They can throw the ball. They have good receivers, good running backs, but we feel like we can try to put pressure on them if we can get them in those situations. So that's I mean, I guess that's very cliche. Win first down, win second, win third down. You win the game, right? But I mean, focusing on second down is big. Stopping easy plays. They're really good at getting drives going by playing fast and kind of nickel and diming down the field. And then all of a sudden they're at your 20-yard line and they're going really fast and you're tired, and then they pop a big play. And so if we can not give them anything easy, if we can challenge everything and force them to make plays rather than walk into plays, I feel good about that. Just making them earn stuff, and if they score, they score, but make them earn it. Don't give them any cheapies. Those are some of the main ones. And then, I think I mentioned this to defense today. I feel like maybe this is the way I feel about defense, and maybe it's the whole team, but they're going to be really excited to play us, and we got to be really excited to play them. And I am, but sometimes when you come off a big win, you see it all the time in college football. There's a tendency to feel good about yourself and then not respond the same way the next week. We got to respond with great energy, because if we respond with great energy and effort, we're going to be just fine. But if we don't match that early, they're going to get a little confidence and grow into the game. And I kind of want to – I've been telling our defense, I want to drag them into the deep end. We've been in the deep end for 8 weeks. And so we've been treading water in the deep end for 8 weeks, and we're conditioned for that. I don't know how conditioned they are for that. Maybe they are, but I'd like to find out, right? And so match that energy, match that that they're going to come out with, and match it early and say, okay, we're here, we're ready to play, and then we're going to drag you into the deep end and see if you're ready to go for 48 minutes like we are.
Well, you heard it here. Drag them to the deep end and see what they're made of. See if they're ready to go.
Yeah.
To the deep end, Coach.
Coach Severe, thank you so much for joining us this evening. All right, well, we are back. We're joined by Coach Rodriguez, our special teams coordinator and wide receiver coach.
Hello, thank you.
Little love for Coach Rod.
Appreciate
All right, well, we're gonna talk about it off the rip, right? We're gonna kind of rip the Band-Aid off. We've talked about it multiple times, but we had a couple of miscues on special teams this past Friday night. What have you been doing to help teach and correct those errors as we head into Walnut Grove?
Yeah, so just, once we get into our specialist period, is just making sure that, hey, the guys are focused and are doing everything that they need to be able just to make sure that when we get into those game situations that, hey, when I tell our guys, hey, every rep needs to be like a game-like rep, right? So, hey, from the snap, from the kick, or whatever we're doing, and the focus, the attention to detail needs to be there. These need to be just like what we're going to be doing in the game. And I feel like a lot of times, sometimes what could happen is our guys just start going through the motions, and then once you get into that game situation and you're going through whatever you need to be going, they kind of forget on, hey, how does this rep need to feel for it to be successful? So just trying to reaffirm our focus during specialists and special teams has been the biggest thing. So
Somebody from the audience wants to know what you were going to tell the wide receivers if you had the chance.
Yep.
Oh man, I can't say it right now. So
Why not, Coach?
Can't say it right now. Just frustrated, in the first half of the game, and really the bad snap too kind of just was the fuel to the flame. Just felt like we should have made some plays there in the first half on the receiver end, and with my guys, I'm gonna be selfish with them. I want them to make every single play that they possibly can. So the expectations are gonna be big with them, and I just felt like we weren't doing that at the beginning, and I was just like. And then the snap going over the head just kind of had me heated. But, like Coach Parr said, that wasn't, the right time to respond that way. And he did a good job of just making sure everybody, was calm and collective. Because like he said, we just had to clean up those mistakes, and we're going to be just fine.
So you were ready to burn the locker room down?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, look, you got a lot of guys that have been doing some great things, and we want to give you a chance to talk about some of those guys. I think Ace last week had a really solid game. Spend some time kind of talking a little bit about Ace and some of the things that you've seen.
Yeah, last week Ace had a really big game. Schematically, what they were doing, it kind of left him in a spot to make some plays, and he was able to do that. He was able to make some big-time catches on third down and continue, to extend those drives. But, no, yeah, Ace is just an all-around player. I mean, he's talented, he's athletic, he's tough. You put him in any position, and he's going to succeed in that. You tell him to do whatever we need him to do, and he's going to do it. I mean, regardless of what it is, he's going to figure it out, and he's going to do what's best for the team. And when you have guys like Ace, it pays huge dividends, and it's just going to help the team be successful. He's a team-first guy, and he is not an eye. I mean, he's going to do whatever it takes for the team to win, and, that just speaks a lot about him.
It sure does. Maybe it's time for teams to stop schematically allowing Ace to run around wild and free.
No, yeah.
For our sake, I want
let's
them to
let's let him forget that. That's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we kind of talked about it post-show last week a little bit, but this may be the best across-the-board special teams unit we've seen in recent memory. So kind of what makes this group of young men so successful? Do they have a specific mindset that makes them easier to coach and teach?
Yeah, just being just across the board, we have a lot of guys that are, have bought into special teams. They understand, the importance that it has on the team, and when you have those guys and they're willing to spend, day in and day out a lot of time of it at practice, it helps in so many different ways. So just they've done a great job. We've had a new kicker with Dez. He's come in and stepped in big. We've had to replace a lot of guys on defense that played on special teams last year, and they have done a good job to fill in those voids and have kind of continued that thread of, hey, we take a lot of pride in special teams. This is where we want to separate from other teams, and they've done a good job in continuing to be consistent on there.
So I'm gonna show you a picture.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're gonna see how has that guy contributed to special teams. You want to talk about that and what you see?
Oh yeah, just hey, he's just all anytime we need to count on that guy, he's gonna make the plays. He's gonna step up. So Chum Bucket is anytime you need.
There you go.
Anytime you need help, anytime you're in danger, anytime we need somebody to save the day. Yeah, Chum Bucket is going to come in and step in and save the day. So
we're having a lot of fun with that on our side. That's for sure. And there'll be more of that to come with stat shows. But
yeah.
Well, hey, I got a question. Who's jumping in as a returner this week in the absence of a couple of guys?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We have Michael Kennedy, who's going to step in and fill that void. So he's finally starting to get comfortable on offense a little bit. So we're starting to see his production pick up a little bit, and he's just as dangerous with the ball. I have all the confidence in the world in him, and I think we're just going to be fine on our return unit with putting him back there. So.
Well, JoJo's another guy that has kind of stepped up in that role. They were trying to avoid those deep guys, and they've been kicking those little like pooch kicks.
Right.
And JoJo is just turn on a dime. And
JoJo has George last week is he stepped up big, and he was able to fill some too, and he brought the ball across the 40-yard line. So again, just emphasizing field position there, and we're able to give that to our offense. And a lot of the offensive drives that we had this past game, they were short drives because of that. So I think offensively we ran around. We didn't have that many plays on offense, so it was good to see that.
Of course, he walks out of the building, but Edward Chumley texted and asked, how do you get the kickoff team to field the ball? I don't know if that's an internal thing with you guys or.
Hey, when it comes to doing that, man, we just you can't overcoach some things, and hey, when the ball is kicked, you see it, go get it. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Coach Rod, any final thoughts before we let you go for the evening?
No, sir. Appreciate y'all.
All
Thank
right.
you guys and everything that y'all have done for Kyle football. So
Yeah, thank you, Coach Rod.
Thank you, Coach. All right, guys, here we are, our final segment with Coach Rigg. Thanks for joining us. Coach Rigg is here.
Coach
Thank you.
Rigg.
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
mean, you barely got any love for scoring 70
bad.
last week. You get another win, or a
know.
couple weeks ago, you get another win, and just I don't know
Too
what
much
it
running
is.
the ball. Not
Too
enough
much
passing,
running.
Yeah.
Not enough. That's the exact opposite we hear from from the stands, man. I don't know if you heard our diatribe on the Stats Show.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Phil. What you
All
got
right.
for
Well,
him?
so right off the bat, we've talked a lot about this tonight already, right? The miscommunications, and it feels like we're kind of trying to, like at this point, maybe beating a dead horse. But it's important to kind of walk through. I think a lot of people want to know from your perspective, what have you been doing to kind of clean some of that stuff up as we prepare to go into Friday?
Yeah, so we've kind of looked at the root of the problem because, anytime, figuring out that you have a problem, you got to admit you have a problem is what I've heard. And so
It's okay. Go ahead.
That's a
it's,
good
a safe, it's a safe space.
yeah,
we have a snapping
everybody here is
problem.
friends and family.
we have a snapping problem, so we admitted it, figured it out. I think we kind of, looked at some options, threw some good ones out there, probably some really dumb ones, and came to kind of the conclusion we're at now. And so we got to change our operation a little bit, which I think will clean some stuff up and make it more cut and dry, not cause confusion, and kind of just, make it a little more set in stone thing.
Good.
All right. Well, hey, so Ashton missed last week's game. RBJ had to leave a little bit early.
Yep.
What I would love for you to do is talk about some of the guys that stepped up in their absence.
Yeah, so we had Ace Traylor had a great game. We had, Michael stepped in, played a really good game as well, had a couple good catches. Rowan showed up like we needed him to, and then you had, kind of piecemealed that other outside wide receiver position. Had Gentry, had some different guys rotating through there, kind of trying to find something. But, Gentry came up big there at the end of the game, has that big old catch on some sort of a scramble drill. I'm not sure what route he was running. He jogged it, and then once he got the ball, the Jets turned on, so that was fun. But those guys really showed up, and then the O-line and, Chumley's eye. I kind of going into the week, I talked to the O-line, told them, hey, I'm trying to get them real motivated. If we run off the football, get after them, this is going to be like a 300-yard type game, which, could have been exaggerating a little bit. I don't think anyone went into that game thinking, 300 yards, but then, things just kept happening.
Yeah.
Big runs kept breaking off, and you get to the end of the game, and it's like 302 yards, which, it's wild.
Listen, we had to come up with a sticker for it.
Yeah,
Yep.
Right.
Pretty fun.
So
Pretty fun.
you kind of mentioned that scramble drill. What's going through your mind on that play to Zay as you're watching from up in the booth? Kind of the top-down view. What's going on in your head as you're watching that play develop?
Well, you look at the concept side, which Zai looks at first, and, it just doesn't look very good. And then you kind of see them start to get pressure, start to, where our protection's not really fitting, and they start adding on. And then he looks over to Zay, and Zay's just kind of jogging some sort of a route, not 100% sure what it was. But he kind of sees Zay's eyes and hits the Jets a little bit, gets some separation. And then when we got it to him, we knew it was gone because there's nobody catching him.
That was another gear.
That was another
different
gear.
level.
Different level.
That was a pretty amazing placement of a throw for him, kind of moving to his right with Zay moving to the left.
Yep.
I mean, that's a dangerous window to potentially throw into that Zai once again comes up with some magic.
Yeah, did a good job though, getting his feet set, really putting great ball, putting the ball in the right place, and I mean that's just your players making plays, which is always fun.
So I guess do I get 2? Number 2? Am I taking 2? Is that where
I
we're
just
at?
asked 2.
Okay,
You're on 3.
I'm just trying to figure out where
Yeah,
we were. I got kind
We've
of
weaved
lost
all over the
in
place
the
like Zai
conversation.
was weaving all over the place on that play. There
so
you go.
So Walnut Grove defense has been surrendering about 19 points per game on the average. What are we going to look to do here?
Yeah, I mean, and the big thing with them is they kind of come out, blitz people. I mean, they've been outscoring people in the first half by a huge margin. Then some of those games have become a little closer as the second half goes along. So I think it's very important we start fast, we get after them early. Don't let them get a big lead. We don't need another Lovejoy. Don't need to be chasing somebody down, but kind of come out ready to play and not have some of those issues we had in the first half last week that they can take advantage of and capitalize on, because they do start really quick. They get on people, and by the time people kind of wake up, it's a little too late for them to catch up.
Are we going to run the ball 34 times again?
We'll do whatever it takes to win. Yes.
That's the answer I expected out of you, Coach.
Whatever we need to score.
Hey, listen, I think they don't get as much love all the time as they deserve. We've got a couple of YouTube comments about it, but our O-line is phenomenal. Like, I think they are absolutely phenomenal. A couple of YouTube comments about it. Kind of give some love to your O-line a little bit.
Yeah, so we have 6 guys that rotate in there. So Peyton, we got Jesse Vasquez, we got Dylan Jeffers, we got Marcos Rivera, and we got Rylan Crawford and Lashem Niente kind of work on the right side together.
Look at you
They
nailing
sort
the
of rotate in.
pronunciation of
I
Shem's
know.
name.
My wife helps me out with that.
There you go.
But they're really great players, great kids. I mean, they're easy to be around. They take constructive criticism as well as anybody. They do a great job coming every day to work, and they just are pleasers. They're going to try to do what you want from them, and they're going to try to make that work. Even if it is the dumbest idea you've ever had, they're going to make it work. And, they do a great job of adapting. Some of our, the things I'll tell them maybe are really, really dumb, but do them to the best of the ability, and they figure out how to get it done and make me look smart.
There you go. Well, hey, Coach Rigg, any final thoughts as we close tonight?
Nope. I think we're good.
All right. Well, hey, that's gonna bring us to a close. We'll let Coach Rigg kind of get out of the hot seat. That's going to bring us to a close. Thank you to all the coaches and Coyote fans for joining us tonight, both in person at Nanda's as well as online on YouTube. Love that. Yeah, Pete, you can lead them in a clap.
Hey, there we go.
Listen, when the mayor's in the house and the mayor wants to clap, you give the mayor some clapping. Sorry, when the voice of the Coyotes wants to clap, you give the voice of the Coyotes a clap. Hey, kickoff is Friday. This Friday, 7:30. We're at home, back at
baby.
the Den. Be loud, vuvuzelas, right?
Let's hear those vuvuzelas. Let's go.
Let's bring all
Tired
the
all these
vuvuzelas.
quiet places.
Yeah, be there and be loud, and then make sure to join us live right here next week, both in person at Nanda's and on YouTube.
Let's do it.
We'll catch you then.